Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, it's time for the PLE Event Center, where our host talks about the results from a WWE PLE event. And now here's the man to bring you all the results from the PLE event himself, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode number 2602, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into the 2600s now. And we're going to talk about Crown Jewel in just a moment, though. There's more releases that come out of the NXT roster. A couple of them are a big shock. Wes Lee was one of them, which I was kind of shocked. Jin Tala was another. Hayes Jamison and Summer Sorrell. And Braden B.J. Rain, you know, the douchebag there. They all got released by the WWE for the NXT roster. So some of these are already a shock. I mentioned Stevie Turner, Lance, and Hawaii got released. Along with Draco Knox and Jamar Hampton. So, as you know, Kylie Ray and Zeta Steel and Zara Zakir will not be renewing their WWE ID contracts. So, got an overhaul of thumbnails to change. I'm going to be changing my thumbnails whenever the chance I get. And I'm going to try to do that. I figured I'd do that. Yeah, I'm sad that Jin Tao got released because I was kind of looking forward to, seeing her and her potential as well. Braden B.J. Ray. I wouldn't be surprised if AEW Ring of Honor signs him and puts him in the frat house. That'll be something. Yeah. But Wesley was a big shock. I would not be surprised if he goes back to TNA under Desmond Xavier and if he gets back together with the Rascals. I see them as a team. I see them as more of a stable now than a three-man team, if you think about it. So that will be something to be interested in. Jin Tala could end up in TNA as well as a Knockout. I can see her, like, if the Angel Warriors kind of break up, I see Jin Tala jump in. What event is this? No. So, yeah, so I'm interested to see what's going to happen now with these released superstars. Are they going to go to TNA or what? Are they making? Is it budget cuts? Is it making room? Because I know they just the WWE re-signed Santos Escobar. Well, you got to remember, though, a lot budget cuts are happening and whatnot, and everything else in between. So yeah, so the timing of it, all these releases is very peculiar in the middle of October. You would think November the releases will come and everything else. We shall see what happens. We shall see what happens in the future with these superstars that got released. So, like I said, I might be changing the wrestling thumbnails if things keep up the way they've been keeping up right now. I may have to move Nikita Lyons to the Evolve thumbnail and I'll put Wendy Chu and Kendall Gray added up in there. And I'll probably add one more person to that. Now, mind you, all the Evolve episodes coming up are going to be taped. So you probably say, okay, I thought that person was released and all that. They were taped before, way ahead of time. So who knows for sure what will happen in the meantime, in between time. So the Vanity Project will be now a trio with Jackson Drake and Swipe Right. So they're going to scrap the name altogether. I know Zeta Steel probably came up with a name or something like that. So with her gone, so who knows what's going to happen. So, and I'm sure they're going to work a storyline where the Vanity Project just splits up and goes their separate ways, possibly. And Bryce Donovan is the first chip to fall, so to speak, first domino to fall in the Vanity Project. So, but that we'll see what happens with WWE Evolve at that point. So, anyways, and with most of the ladies getting released, I think Jin Tala was the only one that made it on TV. Hayes Jamison was, for a spell, Summer Sorrell, one of the LFG prospects. I think Tyra May Steele is still there, so we'll see what happens. Well, like I said, we'll see what happens. What Evolve, a lot of people say Evolve is going to be dead and all that. WWEID is just there to keep people away from AEW. and all that report. I'm just going to enjoy wrestling as it is. So let's talk about it. Sophie Foster, one of the singers, sang both the Australian and U.S. national anthems. And it kicked off with the Australian street fight, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Now, I did my picks and predictions not only on Rant and Rave, but on the final episode of SmackDown, and I predicted that Reed will win the matchup because I have a feeling that Braun Breaker is going to be involved in the matchup, and somehow Heyman will play a key role. Guess what? Braun Breaker didn't get involved, but so did the Usos after they were specifically told by Roman Reigns not to get involved in this matchup. But in the end, Bronson Reed, Bronson Reed ended up winning the match after a miscommunication spear by Jey Uso on Roman Reigns. And afterwards, Roman Reigns was upset with the Usos, and I think, and Wade Barrett hitting the nail on the head. That's the reason why I think Roman Reigns didn't want out there, because friendly fire mistakes are going to happen, and believe me, that's something to look out for. So, and I think Jey Uso got upset, and he walked out on Jimmy Uso. So so I think Jimmy Uso was trying to speak, talk some sense into Jay, and Jay says, I'm done. So, as I picked Bronson Reed to win it, he won it. So, there you go. Then, the Women's Crown Jewel title, Stephanie McMahon versus Tiffany Stratton. Now, I can understand Jordan Little's logic for picking Tiffany Stratton. She's been undefeated this year so far. She has been, and she's been on a roll, being a great women's champion and whatnot. She believes that, he believes, Jordan believes that Tiffany Stratton, will, Tiffany Stratton believes in her skills, her own skills, so why not, So that's a good logical explanation, I should say, that, But I picked Stephanie McMahon to win the match because I believe that she's well experienced in every aspect of wrestling, and a little bit more experience in wrestling as a whole than Tiffany Stratton, And in the end, though, Stephanie McMahon won. 2-0 in my picks. I picked Stephanie McMahon to win the matchup. Jackie Redmond did interview Stephanie McMahon after the matchup. So the Vision kind of was about to celebrate Reed's victory over Reigns, but Paul Heyman says, don't get involved in Seth's match tonight. And then Braun Breaker goes, what if Cody wins? We all know the answer to that question. So, so there's that. Now, John Cena versus AJ Styles. Ladies and gentlemen, if one match stole the show, it's got to be this one. It's lived up to the hype. It was a dream matchup, and both of them, they did fight each other before, but these guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. This matchup, this matchup between John Cena and AJ Styles. Now, we just found out from AJ Styles that next year will be his final year in wrestling. He's going to retire with the WWE. And since John Cena's got 4 dates left until he leaves. And let me tell you something. A lot of people say that his retirement run has not gone very well, but if any match made up for it, it was this match. It was this match because John Cena and AJ Styles totally went at it to the point where, holy mackerel, and just, So, it's unbelievable how things ended up. And this matchup could have gone either way, but a lot of people were, this matchup was, so, first and things first, John Cena asked Alicia Taylor, like he does with Mark Nash, to introduced him as the Never Seen 17, the greatest of all time. And then John Cena handed Alicia Taylor a note having to have AJ doing AJ Styles introduction as the leader of the undisputed leader of the Bullet Club. I think Finn Balor's got something to say about that. Won't be surprised if a rivalry between those two. The epitome of total non-stop action, all these references. John Cena class act to help out AJ Styles. I think once John Cena heard that AJ Styles' last year was next year, and John Cena decided to pay a little tribute, which I think was pretty cool. Here is the list of moves. This was even crazy. All right, John Cena and AJ Styles. Now I'm going from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. John Cena and AJ Styles pay tribute to a lot of wrestlers that helped their careers in their matchup for Crown Jewel. Samoa Joe, Chris Jericho, Rusev, Christopher Daniels, The Miz, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, The Undertaker, Frankie Kazarian, Shawn Michaels, Sting, and also teased a 619 from John Cena. John Cena attended the 619. I imagine him going, Rey Mysterio going, Migo, what are you thinking? You know? But this was, they pulled out all the stops, and they had Y2J chants come out. They had, when John Cena trapped AJ Styles in the walls of Jericho, when John Cena got AJ Styles in the camel clutch, aka the Accolade, fans started chanting Rusev Day. John Cena did the Tombstone, and this match could have gone either way. This was an insane matchup, to say the least. But in the end, John Cena did win the matchup. I picked Cena to win, and like I said, if I had a match of the night, definitely John Cena and AJ Styles is up there. It has to be, you know. So this other matchup coming up next: Rhea Ripley and Io Sky against the Kabuki Warriors. You know, Rhea Ripley back in her home country. You know, I'm sure family and friends are in attendance and all. These two teams, the Kabuki Warriors, they win. I mean, Asuka and Kairi Sane. Asuka trying to do whatever it took to win the matchup. Rhea Ripley and Io fought back, and heck of a matchup. But in the end, the new friends, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, ended up winning the matchup. So Monday Night Raw, the fallout from Crown Jewel, is going to be very interesting. I wonder how Asuka and Kairi are going to react to the loss, and how, you know, who knows? The Kabuki Warriors can end up fighting each other, splitting up. And I can see Kairi going for the Women's Intercontinental title down the road. So, possibly WrestleMania. Next WrestleMania, who knows? Then, and then the Men's Crown Jewel title. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. These guys also pulled out all the stops. Heck of a matchup between these two teams. I mean, these two gentlemen, excuse me. Heck of a matchup, and like I say, it was a great matchup. This is the second match that kind of like second match of the night, so to speak. You know, you talk about matches of the night. Cena Styles, number 1, number 2 would be Rhodes and Rollins. You know, it's like talking about. And in the end, the Crown Jewel card has not been that bad. And has not been that bad, you know. I'd give it a solid just A, or a solid B. Solid A, solid B, around there, between, you know, low A, high B. It was a heck of a good. I usually don't grade pay-per-views, but this one, like I said, Cena, AJ Styles, paying tribute to all those wrestlers that helped their careers. Not only that, you got I Cena should have paid tribute to Kurt Angle with the ankle lock too. That would have been something. You know, AJ Styles went back to his one of his old classic trunks, wrestling trunks on, which I think was pretty cool. But in the end, like I said, Cena AJ Styles was the match of the night for me. Second match of the night would be Rollins Rhodes. Third match of the night would be the women's tag match. So this was, you know, Rhea Ripley against Rhea Ripley in there with 3 of Japan's best, obviously. So you got that, and Asuka, Kairi, and Io. And I think, I know Io is going one-on-one with Mayu Iwatani at Marigold later on this month. And we shall see what happens the Kabuki Warriors and see if they're going to work a program. I don't know. So, like I said, solid. Yeah, I picked Rollins because Rollins used the Rolex watch that Cody Rhodes gave him on him like a pair of brass knucks, and the 3 count was made. Rollins is the men's Crown Jewel champion. I picked Rollins to win it, and I'm 5-0. But I want to give a shout out to Chayton Long. He also went 5-0 in his picks as well. So I know I'm sure he made his picks and predictions on his channel. And Jordan went 4-1. I know which one he got wrong because he did pick Tiffany Stratton. So don't know which match William picked that he got wrong. He was also William Braun, I should say. He was also 4-1. But hey, I was very happy. I got my picks and predictions right, all of them 5-0, and I'm very, very happy with myself. That was great. So really, really excited, and pleased as punch that happened. So yay me. So so that's it for today's episode as well. Tonight it is Collision. Almost AEW Collision. Now there is a lot going on tonight. I want to, oh crap. Yeah. All right. So here's come on. Yeah. So we got some matches that are that is going to happen tonight. Kota Ibushi going to be sticking up for his friend Kenny Omega. And then against Josh Alexander. Also, Collision Homecoming. Eddie Kingston going one-on-one with the Beast Mortals. That's going to be a fight. Let's see what else here. Okay, here's the card. So we got a women's trios matchup. 2 of my favorites on one team: Toni Storm and Harley Cameron, teaming up with the AEW Women's World Champ Chris Statlander. They'll go against the Triangle of Madness. That will be Tekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. Kota Ibushi against Josh Alexander one-on-one. Another mixed trios matchup as the Megan Bain and FTR join forces under Stokely Hathaway and Penelope Ford in their corner against Jet Speed and Willow Nightingale. Eddie Kingston against the Beast Mortos. And the former Acclaimed tag team partners, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, going up against the former Learning Tree tag team partners, Big Bill and Brian Keith. And Ty J will be in action. Anna J and Ty Mello as they try to prepare themselves prepared for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championship tournament coming up very, very soon. Who are they going to face? I don't know. We saw Lacey Lane. I would not be surprised if her and Casey Catanzaro get a tryout in AEW and go up against Ty J. That would be very interesting if they try to sign Lacey Lane and Casey Catanzaro. That would be an interesting deal there. So, we shall see what happens later tonight on AEW Collision. Now, friendly reminder, tomorrow, give me a second here, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, give me a second. I gotta ask my father something. Yeah, sorry about that. Something bothered me. There was an object in the middle of the room. I had to ask my father what it was. Okay, so here we go. I do believe watch live. Let's see. Okay, so. Okay, I do believe. Hey, come on. Would you stop that? Okay. Alright, now, alright, the Patriots and at the Saints. Tomorrow will be CBS WBZ, 1 o'clock. You can hear my live reaction to that game over my live reaction to that on on the Network 3000 channel, on David's channel tomorrow. So I'm hoping to bring you action. What a victory! Like I said, the Patriots had over the Bills. That's going to give them a lot of confidence. They're 3-2 of the season so far. Game number 6. We'll see what happens here of the season. So that's all the time there is to it. I will see you in the next episode of the show. And until next episode comes rolling around, AEW Collision is tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E and do it for Bob Saget production and in association with a Raving Bull for 3000 telepictures and distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.